Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode some really awkward things happened. Like, really awkward. So we need to deal with some of these problems. The question is, how exactly? Like, we've got a lot of issues that have developed from the capitulation that happened. Down over this direction, we're working on pushing back out, and in theory, we shouldn't have too much problem with that. We'll just make our way on out here. And just push our way through here. So, theoretically, we should be able to push back down to about where we were, which was down here. That would be the dream, because giving away all of this territory, while at the same time not provisioning for its defense, is really, really awkward. Okay, so we can see that these guys are now out over here, and we need to move at least some forces over to deal with that. I'm gonna grab these guys that are not really part of this.
Listen up.
Yeah, they're supposed to be all up in here. So that's where they're needing to go. I'm going to grab some units from, like, Army 11 here, which is this army overall. But, man, this really messed us up. The organization here is absolutely awful all of a sudden. Because, like, there's huge gaps in our lines. And it's not something that we can super easily just redirect either.
Commands!
Because it keeps changing back and forth between allied and enemy territory. We can't just super easily adapt. So we kind of just have to let them do what they're doing. The dream would be that they take this location, but now the good news is this army group can have this front line extended all the way down to here. We can't go further than that right now, but we can at least start getting some forces over here. So that looks good, and we're going to continue to try to push out over this direction, although we're not having a huge amount of success over here, and a large amount of that is, of course, due to the fact that we lost basically all of our supply input over here. We also lost all of this, which is hugely cutting into our manpower, and which is absolutely insane that we lost this, because I'm pretty sure we had it cored. Wow. Okay. We also lost all of this. That peace deal sucked. Who negotiated this? Wow. Okay. We have some work to do. No doubt about it. We're in a far, far worse place than we were before that peace deal happened. We also lost a lot of our factories, and that is noted. So for right now, there's not a lot for us to do other than to keep monitoring.
Orders.
And maybe have these infantry out over here. That's this unit? Yeah, this unit. I'm going to have them join in this offensive line push. We got to make our way out of here. And our main issue now, of course, is that we need to pull factories from our modern tank production in order to be working on infantry equipment. So we need to pull back to here and then go back like this. So now we've got at least some infantry equipment being produced. But man, this messed us up.
Fall in!
Like an absurd amount. All the manpower that we had coming in over here is gone because of People's Republic of the Malay Archipelago coming back. And our territory in Australia that was giving us a lot of steel is gone. Luckily, we still have most of this territory up over here. So we didn't like lose Japan or anything like that, but we did lose a significant chunk of China territory. And overall, things are very, 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 very awkward for us. We just need to let the pieces fall at this moment and continue to try to push out. There's not too much about it. We just gotta wait. But we're going to really struggle over here until such a time as we get this naval base more online. And that's going to be problematic as well. Now down here, luckily we do have a fair number of naval bases that we can bring supplies in. That's not a big concern, but there are other very significant concerns here, for sure. Who negotiated that peace deal? Like, for real. Terrible, terrible peace deal. Absolutely awful. So we do have a military-industrial organization trait to take, and we probably should. So that's going to end up being, like, improved torpedo detonators. Sure, that seems fine. Now, I'm not saying that we can't take back this territory, right? This is a setback, to be sure, but not an insurmountable one by any means. Are you in the war? You are. They're just not attacking here for some reason. Not sure why they're not attacking there. Feels like they should be. So we'll continue trying to push out over here, but it's really not going very well. And that's because we only have a level 1 naval base here, and we can't get any more. We just need to wait. We're going to get a level 2 naval base eventually, but yikes. The Thai People's Republic has capitulated. Okay. That has a significant effect on the landscape. So we need to grab this line here and go like that. Ideally, having some forces over here. Where are these guys located? Yeah, I'm going to bring them over. They're going to come up over here with the goal being to offensive line up through, like, here. I don't really care where, just attack stuff. And then up over this way, we need to be extending this front line down to here. Okay. And this capitulated, so we can grab that without any problem. We'll go do that. So that looks fine. We now can capture this area back, and that's going to be our goal here. So these guys, we need them to have the goal of offensive lining down to, like, here. Sure, that'll do. Get in there, and we'll start to attack. We don't want them funneling a bunch of troops through here, so we need to try to take one of these positions here. And it's going to end up being like this or so, but this area over here is actually completely and totally cut off. I just realized that. We do not have... Oh, we do have a naval base here. What we don't have is rail running up this coast. Okay. So we'll get that going in, and that will be done as soon as possible. We should not be attacking from this side, is what that means. So out over here, I'd like to be pushing in on some of these areas. Something kind of like this. But yeah, this is going to be very, very, very awkward. No way around it. So we can't push in here just yet. We need these guys to continue to push, and they're not making very much progress on that. We need to get our troops into a frontline position down over here. That's going to take time. And we are compressing this neck over here, which is good. That definitely needs to happen, but we need to get our rail lines heading up over here as well. So just a whole lot of things in general that need to happen. So in terms of these guys, where are they currently? They're sailing on up. Okay, cool. So these guys have been encircled. I'm going to see about stack wiping them. We'll get them taken out. I'd really like to get this squeezed off right here. Let's see what an attack here might do. Absolutely nothing is the answer. They're piling a lot of resources in through here. and that's absolutely understood. So up over this direction, we're about to get a level 2 naval base here, which will be a significant boost here. The Socialist Republic of the Zhejiang claims Indochina. Okay. Well, I wish them luck with that endeavor. So we're going to continue to run our rail lines up this direction. And we've now gotten our level 2 naval base here, or we should have. Looks like it was delayed a day by attacks. So there's the level 2 naval base, and that will dramatically help our supply up in these areas. It won't fix it, but it'll help it. This is apparently not motorized. Not that that would, you know, help all that much. Okay, so we'll continue trying to push in out over this way. If we look here, we can see that we are currently at needing 5,000 tanks. Okay, noted. Yeah, this is a really awkward situation. No doubt about that. Come on in and attack here. And we're going to continue trying to pinch this off before they get ludicrous numbers of troops in here, but even what they're doing is actually not bad. Down here, there is a naval base that they can get some supplies in from, but that's the only naval base that they actually have. And then all of their supplies have to come through here, but there's no rail network. They could build one, to be sure, but there is no rail network there. What is this order? Why? Why are we doing this? Can we not? Let's get rid of that.
Attention.
And I would prefer it if we instead offensive lined a little more sensibly, like this. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that going. That looks good. That is not actually the order that I wanted to get started, is it?
Listen up.
Go ahead and get started on that. Okay. So that looks fine. We'll continue to work on this. And they're shuffling a lot of troops into this pocket, which is actually not necessarily a bad thing. Now, we're starting to get supplies up over this way. If we check in here, we can see there's no supply connection there yet, but there will be very, very soon. So that's looking good. Out over here, we're still very struggling to push out, but we're in a much better situation supply-wise. It's not good, but it's better. Honestly, we have to call a halt to these attacks up over here. We just can't do that. We cannot attack over here. We'll make sure that our land forts are good over here. We could build land forts here and here. But otherwise, we're fully dug in over this way. So we'll get working on that. And then out over here, we could build land forts there. That seems fine. But we need to get this situation under control. So we've got a major problem here and a major problem here. Losing this is bad, but it's not the end of the world. Really. We're still having decent recruitable monthly growth. So I'm not that concerned about that, but it's a problem, to be sure.
Ready.
We'll see if we can get these guys stack wiped. Oh, we can't. Not yet. Okay. So we just need to get the situation stabilized here, is what needs to happen. So we're working on that, but it's going to be a while before this naval base is prepared to do anything at all. I wish we at least had gotten like a diplomatic heads up that this was coming, but nope, no such luck. So we want to get these guys fully cut off, right? One of our primary missions here is going to be to have these guys move over to convoy raiding in the Gulf of Thailand. That's the only location where they are capable of getting resources in here.
Yes, sir.
So these guys, they're making their way into position and going to be attacking up over here pretty shortly. So that looks good. We'll continue to work on that. And we're going to have supplies making their way up here very, very soon. 21 January is when all of these railroads will be completed. So that seems fine. And as far as this goes, we're just going to have to hang out. But man, this is a bad situation. Not of our own design, either. Completely and totally forced upon us. Gotta love it. So we're just letting these guys continue to regenerate. I'm wondering about... Okay, that's a lot of modern tanks that we're in deficit on. Noted. And you can see here, they're trying to take Saigon, which... It looks like the Americans are going to get there in time to prevent them from getting this naval base. They do have this naval base in Cambodia, but that's in the same location as here. So that looks good. I would still like to pinch this off over here, but they're moving huge numbers of troops, and we just do not have the troop numbers to handle that, unfortunately. So our next level of naval base out over here is going to be on 24 January. That's a long ways out. That is a really, really long ways out. So that's noted and certainly not ideal. As we can see here, they've cut us off over this way. Not terribly surprising. We're still working on getting into position over here. So that is very rough over on this side. Like, overall, this put us in such a bad position. I wish we could have just refused to give the territory back. That would have been the best way to go. But, oh, that capitulation really messed us up. We were making great progress. And then this happened. The good news is we can get at least most of it back. The bad news is it's going to cost us a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a whole lot of manpower. You can see our manpower has just been steadily dropping, and that is very painful. We need to try to reassert our lines here, and for the moment, we're just not in position to do it. The good news is this is a very vulnerable position for them. So we were able to hold Saigon. That's a big deal. And then they're not really able to get convoys in through here. These guys, they're not pushing very hard because they're on carefully execute. I'm going to move them up, and we're going to start pushing our way up this coastline up over here. So that looks good. Over on this side, we should be starting to see the rail line connecting up very shortly. Yes, it is connected now. So we can now attack from multiple sides over here if we see a weakness in this corridor, which is absolutely something that we want to do. The Americans are still piling in over here, and we're still moving around as well. So there's a lot of work to be done there, for sure. Our manpower levels are just plummeting right now. And a lot of that has to do with these attacks. There's a lot of fighting ongoing right now. If we check in here, we can see 25 million difference here, which is, you know, nice, but it's not enough. These are some heavily fortified positions here. It's going to be tough for us to break through them. Indeed. We got pushed back over here, but the Americans are going to hold. So that looks good.
Andana.
And ultimately, we need to get back to where we were, right? We need to get... We need to push these guys back over here once they take this. We have to wait for them to take these couple of provinces before we can take it back. This out over here is remaining very awkward because they're not going after this, but we might be able to push around it. That's not the biggest of deals. Up over here, this is a very awkward situation, and over here, this is an incredibly awkward situation. This naval base is going to get up to a level 3 naval base in the next week or so. So I feel like we've largely stopped the bleeding at this point. from what I can only describe as the event. The Colombian Socialist Republic has capitulated to the Germans. Okay. I don't think that really affects us exactly. It makes South America very awkward, but South America was already very awkward. My main concern right now is our manpower is just plummeting. So if we check in here, we can see we are needing about 100,000 manpower at this moment. That's a lot of manpower. I'm going to halt all attack orders for right now, with the exception of this one. We'll continue to attack down over here, maybe. Actually, no. I'm going to halt that too. We're going to let the Americans run attacks, because at this moment, we just need to stem the bleeding, and we need to get our manpower situation a little bit more under control. But yeah, we got screwed super hard by that peace deal. It was even worse than I thought it was at the end of last episode. Now, the Japanese are not taking back these areas very quickly. That's noted. Do we have an opportunity over here? No, they have a very large number of troops over in these areas. So we need to just let our forces resupply at this moment, and we need to work through our infantry equipment here. We have so little steel now. So much of our steel was lost. I'm going to do this, and our tanks just have a really long time before they're going to be ready to go. A really, really long time. Also, we're still attacking over here. Can you stop, please? Thank you. So we need to dig in on these new fronts. I think we need to start bleeding them very heavily. So I'm going to be putting these in. This was intended to be at the top of the queue. I was pressing the button to make it at the top of the queue, but apparently I wasn't pressing the button to make it at the top of the queue. That's fine. So I want to be working on getting this line dug in for the moment, because it's going to be rough. No doubt about it, this is going to be very, very awkward. So we'll get all of that dug in for now, and that looks good. Out over here, we're going to need to work on some of this stuff. Because unfortunately, now they can use a lot of our defensive line against us. And that's kind of awful. So that is noted, and out over here, of course, we're working on those areas. That seems good. We do need to move these guys up, for sure. So we'll do that. But otherwise, broadly, we're in a better state. I am not going to call this a good state. You can see our manpower just continues to plummet for right now. Yeah, we're down to 35k monthly growth. That's about where I expected to be. It's going to be bad, because we lost the vast majority of our locations for mobilization, even though we cored them, and I'm very, very sad about that. So how do we want to proceed from here is the question that we need to start asking. This is a rough situation. I don't feel like it's an untenable one, but it's definitely a very large setback. I feel like primarily what we need to do is we need to just let them take back these areas and then reconquer them. That's the only real way forward from here, I feel like. So we're going to continue to work on all this. We did get a level 3 naval base out over here, which is good, but this is a very, very awkward position out over here, for sure. We've got a lot of tanks that need a lot of work, and just generally over here, we need a lot of time. And that's generally what we need across the board right now. We need to solidify our front lines. And then our goal needs to be pinching off this. Once we have that done, this can collapse fairly easily, and we can stack wipe it. Now, they are getting supplies in here, so we should probably do something about that once the... Oh boy, this is not an autosave. This just changed to the Thai People's Republic. Huh. Are we opposed to this? No. What just happened?
Orders.
I'm very confused. Why did this all revert back to the Thai People's Republic? I guess we can stack wipe the units that are here. But that was very strange. I'm very, very confused by what happened there. And now they're reconquering it. Okay, well, things continue to be awkward. I'll put it that way. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I guess we'll see what awkwardness awaits us in the next episode. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this very confusing video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Thosmos VR, Wolfman2000, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, Moonfall, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all in the next, possibly also very confusing video.